Welcome back guys. After about half a year, Nukem9 has updated their DLSS G2 FSR3 mod. This is the latest version, build 0.120. I have tested the mod in a few games. In Final Fantasy 16 and Monster Hunter Wilds, the graphical artifacts around the character model have been fixed. Unfortunately, the beta test for Monster Hunter Wilds ended a few hours ago. I was not able to record the gameplay video. But it will start again in a few days from now. When that happens, I'll record the video. In this video, I'll show you the setup process for this mod in a few games, including Final Fantasy 16. We'll also show you how to use DLSS for Upscaler in conjunction with Nukem9's mod for all RTX GPUs. This is the update log. Added support for intercepting hooking, over-the-air streamline plugin update with the Universal Edition. Added support for games that pass in bidirectional distortion field resources. No idea what that means. Added workarounds to support Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Prior to this build, I was using a build compiled by Nitec that fixed the artifacts around the character model in ND. That build is not required now. You can directly use Nukem9's latest build. Added workarounds to better support RTX remix based games. Added workarounds for games providing incorrect camera far near and field of view values. I think this is the change that fixed the artifacts around the character models. Migrated to the latest AMD Fidelity SDK from version 1.1 to 1.1.3. Fixed occasional blurry rectangle, interpolation rectangle issues when switching upscalers or changing the output resolutions. You can download the mod from Nexus Mods. The setup process for the mod is exactly the same. Just click on this link. Need to have a free Nexus Mods account in order to download any stuff from here. Click on Files here. Click on Manual Download under Universal. Universal version offers the best compatibility. Click on Slow Download. Download will start. First, I'll show you the setup process for Final Fantasy 16. I'll also show you how to manually update its DLSS Upscaler version to 4. NVIDIA app method did not work for me. It may be due to the fact that I am using the demo of this game. The latest version of the upscaler is 310.2.1.0. This game selects model preset C out of the box for this version of the upscaler, which is not a transformer model. To activate the transformer model, we need to change the model preset to K. I'll be doing it using DLSSTweaks. You can download it from Nexus Mods. Click on Files here. Click on Manual Download, latest version. Then click on Slow Download here. Download will start. I'll be using DLSS Debug overlay to verify the details of the upscaler like its version and model preset. We'll be creating a registry entry using this code provided by Emos. Just copy the lines. Create a new text file anywhere on your PC. Name it anything you want. Change its extension from .txt to .reg. Hit enter. Select, right click, open with Notepad. Paste the lines here. Now if you want to disable the debug overlay, replace number 4 with 0. I'll revert the change as I want to enable the overlay. Click on File, click on Save, Close, run this file. Yes, OK. This activates the debug overlay. Download the latest version of DLSS Upscaler from Tech Power of website. Click on Download here, latest. Click on any of these servers. Download will start. Now I'll install the mod in Final Fantasy 16. Open the mods archive file. Then open DLL_version folder. Copy these two DLL files. DLSS G2 FSR3 AMD is better and version. Just need to paste them in the games install directory. Select the game in your Steam library. Right click, manage, browse local files. Paste the mod files here. Now I'll manually update DLSS Upscaler. Open the Upscaler's archive file. Copy this DLL file. Open the games install directory. Paste the file here. We will basically replace the older version of DLSS Upscaler with the newer version. Click on replace. There is the file. Check its version. It's the latest version now. Next step is to install DLSSTweaks. Open its archive file. Just copy the highlighted files. Paste them in the games install directory. Right here. Change the name of nvngx.dll file to dxgi.dll. Now run DLSSTweaks config.exe file. More info, run anyway. You just need to set the model preset to K for the upscaler's quality level that you will be using. I'll be using the upscaler's quality mode. So click on the drop down bar next to quality under DLSS preset section and select K. Click on save. That's it, we are done here. Close. Make sure hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting is enabled. Right click anywhere on the desktop, click on display settings, then click on graphics. Click on advanced graphics settings. From here enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting. If your monitor supports BRA, enable the setting as well. I'll just enable VSYNC from NVIDIA control panel now. Click on manage 3D settings, click on program settings, click on add here. Look for Final Fantasy 16. It's the demo in my case. There it is. Scroll down to the end, enable VSYNC from here, apply the change. My monitor is G-Sync compatible. I'll enable the corresponding settings for it. Click on setup G-Sync here, enable the following settings. Enable G-Sync compatible, enable for full screen mode, enable settings for the selected display model. Click on display here. Check this setting as well, G-Sync compatible indicator. Click on the same option again if you don't want to use G-Sync indicator. We are ready to run the game. We'll be using Afterburner overlay to show you the performance metrics. We are in. Check out the debug overlay in the bottom left corner. Preset used is K. Version of the upscaler 310.2.1. Resolution upscale from 720p to full HD. Auto exposure setting on. In game settings, I am using the high preset. Upscaler set to DLSS 3. Using its quality preset. Frame generation disable for the time being. Motion blur set to nil. Disable post-processing effects like vignette, chromatic aberration, reflex on. Variable rate shading off. Display mode full screen full HD resolution. VSYNC off. We are in. Here FPS is within a range of 53 to 60. Image quality is looking sharp. Detailed character model. DLSS 4 upscaler for you. Not observing any texture shimmering in the background. Animation is looking a bit choppy. 50 to 60 FPS. Let's enable frame generation now. With the older versions of Nukem9 Mod, graphical artifacts used to occur around the character model after enabling frame generation. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I can observe the added amount of smoothness. FPS increased to around 90 to 100. No graphical artifacts are produced around a character model, so this issue has been fixed with the latest version of Nukem9 Mod. Game's HUD elements are not flickering, but the debug overlay is flickering. This is expected. The debug overlay is not a part of the game's interface. After verifying the details of the upscaler, just disable debug overlay. Now I'll be testing the next game. Now I'll show you the mod setup process for Dragon's Dogma Part 2. Don't need to use RE framework anymore in order to get Nukem9 Mod working with this game. I'll manually update DLSS Upscaler to version 310.2.1.0. DLSS auto exposure setting is disabled by default in this game. So I'll be using Optiscaler Mod to enable DLSS auto exposure setting. We'll also use Optiscaler to inject Nukem9 Mod in this game. So first I'll install Nukem9 Mod. Open the mods archive file. Open DLL_version folder. Just copy this DLL file. DLSS FSR AMD is better. Open the games install directory. Select the game in your Steam library. Right click, manage, browse local files. Paste the mod file here. Nukem9 Mod has been installed. I'll be using the nightly build of Optiscaler Mod. You can download it from Optiscaler's GitHub page. Expand the asset section. Click on the .7z link here. Open Optiscaler's archive file. Copy the highlighted files. Need to paste them in the games install directory. Right here. Change the name of nvngx.dll file to txgi.dll. Now just open optiscaler.ini file. In the older builds of Optiscaler, this file was named as nvngx.ini. Just set fg type to Nukems. This will enable Nukem9's mod. Click on file, click on save, close. Even for this game, I have enabled VSYNC from NVIDIA control panel. Manually update DLSS Upscaler. Just open the Upscaler's archive file, copy this DLL file, paste it in the games install directory. Right here, replace VRN. Show you the game settings first. Resolution Full HD, DLSS enabled using the Upscaler's quality preset. Frame generation disabled for the time being. Reflex on. Texture filtering setting set to high. Texture quality set to high. 0.25 GB. Low to medium settings. Shadow cast setting enabled. Post processing effects disabled. Motion blur, bloom, depth of field, lens flare, lens distortion. That's it. Save. Now check out the debug overlay. Model preset used is C. We want to switch to K. Version of the Upscaler, yeah, it's the latest version. Base resolution 1130 by 636 pixel. This is not right. Should have been 720p. Auto exposure setting is disabled. Just go to graphics. Change DLSS Upscaler's quality level to balance. Save. Now check the debug overlay. Correct resolution is shown for the base resolution. Strange. Okay, we'll change the render preset using Optiscaler. Open the menu by pressing the insert keyboard key. From here, just check this option, render presets override. Click on the drop down bar next to override preset and select K. There it is. Click on apply. It changed. Check the setting, auto exposure. Auto exposure on. Save and close. I am in the city of Wanworth. This area is very heavy on the CPU. Here FPS is close to 60. This is the game running without frame generation. Image quality is looking sharp. DLSS 4 Upscaler. Resolution upscale from 720p to Full HD. FPS stays close to 60. Now I'll enable frame generation via Nukem9's mod. On. Back to the game. Yeah, FPS increased to around 100. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. Game's HUD elements are not flickering, but the debug overlay is flickering. Just disable it after verifying the Upscaler's detail. So everything is working properly. I'll just leave Wanworth. Open area is very heavy on the GPU. Yeah, hitting the GPU bottleneck here.
An ox cart ought to make our journey easier.
One hopes these carts offer comfort.
So make sure you change the DLSS quality level to balance or even performance if the base resolution shown in the debug overlay is incorrect. With the balance quality mode, base resolution was set to 720p. This should not have happened. Should have happened in the case of quality mode. 90 to 100 FPS with frame generation mod on RTX 2070 Super. Now I'll be testing the next game. Now I'll be installing the mod in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. We'll be manually updating DLSS Upscaler to the latest version. In this game, DLSS auto exposure setting is disabled by default, so I'll be using DLSSTweaks to enable the setting. First uninstall Nukem9's mod. Open DLL_DBG help folder. Copy these two DLL files. Need to paste them in the games install directory. Open Xbox PC app. Click on My Library. Select the game. Click on the three dots here. Click on Manage. Click on Files. Click on Browse. Open the games install directory. Open Content folder. Paste the DLL files here. Now I'll manually update DLSS Upscaler. Open the Upscaler's archive file that you downloaded earlier. Copy the DLL file. Open the games install directory. Open the games install folder. Open Content folder. Open Streamline folder. Paste the DLL file here. This is the older version of DLSS Upscaler 3.7.20. Replace it. Latest version 310.2.1.0. Now I'll install DLSSTweaks. Open DLSSTweaks archive file. Copy the highlighted files. Need to paste them in the games install directory. Open the games install folder. Open content folder. Paste the files here. Now change the name of nvngx.dll file to txgi.dll. Run DLSSTweaks config.exe file. More info, run anyway. Click on the drop down bar next to override auto exposure. Select force enable, save. That's it, we are ready to run the game. In-game settings, display mode set to borderless windowed, resolution full HD. VSYNC off, I have enabled VSYNC from NVIDIA control panel. Motion blur and chromatic aberration disabled. Film grain disabled as well. Depth of field enable. My GPU has 8 GB of VRAM, that's why I have set texture pool size to low. Most of the settings are set to high. Motion blur set to low. Hair quality medium. Upscaler set to DLSS using its quality preset. DLSS frame generation setting got unlocked. Disable for the timing. That's it. Check out the debug overlay in the bottom left corner. Model preset used is K. Latest version of the upscaler is used. Base resolution 720p, upscale to full HD resolution. Auto exposure setting on. FPS is within a range of 75 to 80. I am in the city of Vatican. CPU load is close to 80%. Okay, I'll just enable frame generation now. On. Back to the game. Yeah, FPS increased to around 120. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. Frame generation smoothing effect is working properly. Not observing any artifacts around the equip item. Even the subtitles are not flickering. Games HUD elements are also not flickering. But the debug overlay is flickering. You know what to do. Just disable it. After verifying the details of the upscaler. This game does not suffer from any traversal stutters, but a hitch occurs whenever we activate any checkpoint. I'll just engage in combat now, alert everyone. Start with this guy. Yeah, 110 to 120 FPS. Now I'll be testing the next game. Now I'll be installing Nukem9's mod in Star Wars Outlaws. In the older versions of this game, we needed to use another mod to disable in-game lens distortion effect to eliminate the graphical artifacts produced around our character model with frame generation enabled. This is not required now. Ubisoft has added lens distortion setting as an in-game option. This game was updated recently. It supports DLSS 4 upscaler, but the model preset used for it is J. I'll be switching the model preset to K using DLSSTweaks. First I'll show you Nukem9's mod setup process. Open the mods archive file. Open DLL_version folder. Copy the two DLL files. Just need to paste them in the games install directory. Open the games install folder. Paste the DLL files here. Now install DLSSTweaks. Open its archive file. Copy the highlighted files. Need to paste the files in the same directory where you pasted the previous DLL files. Right here. Change the name of nvngx.dll file to txgi.dll. Now run DLSSTweaks config.exe. I'll be using the quality mode of DLSS Upscaler. Click on the drop down bar next to quality under DLSS preset section and select K as the preset. Click on save, close. That's it, we are ready to run the game. Even for this game, I have enabled VSYNC from NVIDIA control panel. In-game settings, full HD resolution. Upscaler set to DLSS. Legacy mode, disable. This will activate the transformer mode of DLSS. Legacy mode is basically CNN mode. Frame generation disable for the time being. Upscaler mode set to fix using the upscaler's quality preset. Reflex on using the medium graphics preset. Cinematic lens disable, very important. If you enable the setting, there will be some graphical artifacts around our character model with frame generation on. Film grain disable. Depth of field set to low. Motion blur set to nil. RTX direct lighting off. You cannot disable all of the ray tracing settings in this game. Advanced graphics, medium, fog blur off, ray tracing settings, low to medium. There's a character. I'm on moon Tushara. Yeah, here FPS is close to 60. Riding around the moon on my hover bike. In the debug overlay you can see the correct preset is selected. Version of the upscaler, it's the latest version. Auto exposure setting on. Now I'll enable frame generation. On. Apply. Back to the game. The FPS increased to around 100. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. No graphical artifacts are produced around a character model. See? But frame generation implementation is not perfect in this game. Just observe the shadow of a speedster. Yeah, it's flickering. Common FSR frame generation related artifact. It's up to AMD to fix this issue. Now just check out the vegetation quality here in the darker areas. In the shadows, a shimmering like effect is produced around the vegetation. Switching to the older version of DLSS will fix this issue. So I hope the transformer model gets updated to resolve this issue. I encountered this issue even in Cyberpunk 2077. Try to look for some vegetation in darker areas in the shadows. You'll observe a similar shimmering like effect. Someone is attacking me. I'll retaliate. So that's it for the video guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.